And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, comic fans across America, how are ya? I'm Troy David Phillips, manager here at Flashback Comics in Woodbridge, Virginia, and with me, the always dapperly dressed, look at this guy, Kevin Goswan, ComicsOnline.com.
Everything geek pop culture. Yes, you did it right. I'm so happy.
Well, I think by now everyone in America understands that you don't like the word "and."
I do, and a lot of things. That didn't really go together well.
No. Kevin actually goes out of his way to avoid the use of the word "and" in a sentence, if at all possible.
I like the possibly inclusive or.
But
let's talk comics.
Yeah, because this conjunction junction thing is getting old.
Yeah. So what's your first function?
Okay. I'm going to start on the DC side of things. DC's New 52. I'm going to lean into your microphone while I use both hands. This is Secret Origins, issue number 6. Now, as you can see, the cover is giving us this incredibly beautiful Wonder Woman, but Secret Origins will also give us origins on Deadman and Sinestro. I can't help. I'm going to crack open here and try to give us at least one good Wonder Woman shot.
There's something rude that I could say there, but I won't.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. So we've got Wonder Woman. Again, Secret Origins has been a book that has given us origins, typically on 3 characters at a time, and we have seen Superman, Supergirl, Green Lantern, and Cyborg and others. Well, here's Deadman for you,
and this is issue 6, and so these are more or less detailed than we've gotten in their individual books up to this point.
Well, it's more details than we've gotten. It'll be things that we hadn't seen before.
All right.
So an expansion, if you will. Like in the case of Superman, seeing a little bit more of Krypton, seeing him, loaded into the rocket and sent on his way, seeing more of the build-up between Victor Stone and his father. He is a football player before he was horrifically scarred and had to go through the cybernization process, and so on. So you get more than what you've already gotten, but it's been good so far, 6 issues in. The nice thing is you don't have to read each issue in sequence. You pick up an issue that's got the characters in it you like and go with that. If you don't like the characters, you don't have to pick the book up.
All right.
Kevin here should pick the book up because there's so many characters that he just doesn't seem to know enough about.
Oh, yeah. Well, pre-New 52, I knew a lot.
And you could know even more post-New 52.
I could.
You could.
Eventually, I'll catch up. It'll happen. My first one. Oh, thanks for doing that.
Absolutely.
The Walking Dead, issue number 133. Oh, my goodness. The Walking Dead has been fantastic, and in this post-all-out war world, they did a little flash forward of an uncertain length of time. My guess is probably 2 or 3 years anyway, somewhere between 2 and 4 years. There was a bit of a flash forward after all-out war. And now we've got kind of a different environment. We've got some ongoing, what do I want to say? The civilization has progressed quite significantly, and now we're really kind of at another stage of development in the show. It's a show to me. Even before there was a show, I would call that a show because it was a show in my head.
There are things in Kevin's head you just don't want to know.
It's true. It's very true.
You really don't.
So anyway, fantastic comic. One of my favorites. It's been honestly the one that I've kept up on ceaselessly ever since I accidentally dropped out of comics a few years ago, and now catching up with the help of Troy. And if this is the first time you've watched the Comics Online podcast or Flashback's Top 5, Troy David Phillips can help you with your catching up needs when it comes to comic books.
I'll tell you this about The Walking Dead, about just going through issue 133. I've never ceased to be amazed at how excellent the artwork is as a black and white comic. I'm pretty accustomed to 4 colors in comics, and while there have been black and white comics that I have very much enjoyed, not least of which is, say, Savage Sword of Conan. I've always loved that book.
Yeah.
And many, many others. But, talking about The Walking Dead, Edlard's art in this has just been fantastic. The black and white suits the tone of the story. Color wouldn't hurt the book necessarily, but the book doesn't beg for color at the same time. The black and white is just, it's there. It's so good.
It's true. I've never had the pages go and flap open and say, color me. It's never happened.
Yeah. Well, except for that one time when Kevin was in the field and he was eating mushrooms out of the field. Well, that's a whole
Nobody
story.
told me that they were the wrong kind. How am I to know? So, what's your second one?
My second pick. I'm still on the DC side of things for right now.
All right.
New number 1, people, Deathstroke the Terminator.
Oh.
Okay. Now, many of us know that Deathstroke the Terminator first appeared in New Teen Titans number 2 in the Marv Wolfman, George Perez days. Well, what we have going on here in the New 52 is Mercenary Deathstroke the Terminator, written by Tony S. Daniel. And
how does he differ? How does this character in the New 52? How does he differ from the classic comics?
He's a little older. Some of the elements of his origin have been changed to kind of give that layer of age to him. That kind of soldier a little past his prime. Obviously, he's still very much a super soldier, and he's still very much what we would consider on top of the game. But he had an edge. He had something to prove. There was something there. And that comes through in the attitude. It comes through in the abrasiveness. Mr. Daniels has promised us that this book is going to ramp up the violence, that he is going to, as he's writing it, I believe the quote was, he was going to push the envelope. So we're going to see Deathstroke, I think, the way that his fans really want to see him. They want to see, those guns, that sword, the martial arts, the grenades, just everything. They're going to want to see him in situations where a brutal, violent Deathstroke is exactly what the story calls for.
Explosions and lots of death being stroked, so to speak.
But again, Mr. Daniels is a writer that I have confidence in, certainly from his various other books. I won't go through his resume right now, but what's important is that he's working Deathstroke, and it promises to be very good. So, first issue's out. You should pick that up. You're probably already liking Deathstroke in DC's other title, Suicide Squad, which also features Black Manta and Harley Quinn and Joker's daughter and Deadshot. And we've seen,
I kind of want to read that.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
Once I get back into New 52, it's going to be that and the Bat books. Well, it's kind of a Bat book anyway, almost. It's a
we're gonna do one of these spotlight shows, and you're gonna stop telling people that you're going to get into the New 52. You're gonna be there already.
That's true. It'll be exciting. Stay tuned.
I can't wait. But for you, Suicide Squad. For everybody else, Deathstroke Terminator.
All right. So how does this Deathstroke compare with Deathstroke on television?
Well, that's hard to say because I haven't had time to give this more than a cursory go through.
Oh no, but within the Suicide Squad,
within the context of the Suicide Squad, this Deathstroke is maybe a little less villainous. He is definitely playing somewhat by the rules, under the authority of the Suicide Squad. But within the Suicide Squad itself, he has no problem with being abrasive to his teammates, his co-workers.
Cool.
There's a side that Manu Bennett brings out in the Arrow series that is different from the side of the character you'll see in the comic series. But I think we all are fans of Mr. Bennett's portrayal. Rock on. And but again, in terms of the comic, we're gonna see some brutal action coming out here.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I look forward to catching up. I say that a lot, but it's true.
I look forward to staying caught up.
Yeah. So my second one for this week is yet another TV spinoff. As I mentioned in the podcast section. Buffy, like the Doctor Who comics, is a spin-off of television rather than television spinning off of a comic book. And this here is season 10. Now,
issue 8.
Yeah, season 10, issue 8. And this is, I believe it says right on the cover, this is a jumping on point. Maybe it's the other version, but anyway, this is a jumping on point.
Halloween Spooktacular issue.
Right.
17 prom fight tactics you won't believe.
Right.
Dark Overlords, worth it? Plus, 12 reasons to keep fighting evil. It's all right in here, people.
It's all right in here. But and this is true. This issue 8 of season 10. You're thinking, oh, that's way deep into it. No, this is a jumping on point for Buffy. So go ahead and try. This is a one-off story, and issue 9 of season 10 next month. We'll start a whole new arc. So. Get ready. Yeah,
I kind of like the Halloween theme that you've had going on there, Kevin.
Yeah.
With Walking Dead and now Buffy, BTVS.
Yeah. So, Troy, what are you going to be doing for Halloween this weekend? It seems like there's something going on.
Well, there is the Halloween Comic Fest here in the comic book store. So I'm hoping to see people in costumes. I'm hoping to be giving away a lot of the Comic Fest comics that they have for us to give away. And we're hoping that we can make this event something big, just like with Free Comic Book Day. It'd be nice to have 2 events in a year now.
I know. That's exciting. Really. Yeah, so thanks, people at Diamond. That's nice of you.
Yes, indeed. Will ComicsOnline.com be out with us on Free Comic Day?
We sure as heck will.
Well, then.
Notice on your side of the show, I say heck.
Yes, and I appreciate that. Because, the beep, it gets kind of annoying.
Right.
Especially since with Kevin, it's just a constant beep, for like 30 whole minutes.
Right. Well, if I get excited about something, that's going to happen.
Oh, yes, indeed. Well, I recommend you become a fan of the shows Farscape and Battlestar Galactica, so you can work frack and frel into your daily lexicon.
I was never a big Farscape guy. I mean, I thought it was okay, but I didn't follow it very closely. Battlestar Galactica, however, I got into right at the end, maybe the beginning of the actual series, the end of the miniseries, beginning of the actual series. So season 2, basically.
I'd actually recommend going back to Farscape because it watches even better the second go-round.
I think that I will at some point. Being as though now you can just marathon things and really get into them. But that is in my queue, so to speak.
Maybe you should go to Amazon and buy yourself the complete set on DVD or Blu-ray.
You know what? I'm probably just going to stream it, honestly. And, yeah.
But that way you miss the special features that would be included on the complete disc sets.
That's true. That's been my problem with the Marvel stuff. Sad fact, I have not bought anything after Iron Man 2.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you that if you are buying the Blu-rays, you are getting the Marvel one-shots. These are 5-minute mini-movies which bridge in between episodes. But if you're streaming them or if you're getting them from an alternative source and not buying the physical copies, you are not getting the one-shots.
You're not getting everything. So, and they really tie things together. They have characters. They have greater explanation on what's going on with characters.
I have seen all the one-shots up to this point. I'd be happy to tell you about them here in the store. Come in and ask me about the Marvel one-shots, and then go out and buy the silly things.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of Marvel,
I'm
jumping across the street now. That is, in fact, for those of you who aren't comic historians,
287 Park Avenue South, New York, 10016.
I don't remember the zip code, but hey, that was pretty good. Marvel and DC.
I remember the number.
Yeah, Marvel and DC used to be located at opposite ends of the street from each other. So you talk about going across the street to the other company. That's why I keep doing that.
Yeah.
So,
back in the day.
Yeah, Amazing X-Men issue number 12.
Did we ever figure out what this is an homage to, this cover?
Not yet, but I will crack that mystery. Between here and there, however, this is what's important about this Amazing X-Men issue number 12. It is the conclusion to the World War Wendigo story. I'm showing some of the World War Wendigo awesomeness that is on the inside of this comic. Let me give you one more. Oh, there's a good one. I'm actually going to show this one to Kev, too, and he can go, oh, my God, I'm so behind, I've got to get caught up so I can read that.
That is true.
See that? Kapow, look at that.
What?
Yep. That's a thing.
That happened.
Yes, that is a thing.
They come out tomorrow.
Yep. So for those of you who didn't know, there has been a situation in Canada involving a shipment of tainted meat. Some human flesh has fallen into meat at a meat packing facility.
Won't be the first time, won't be the last.
Which was then distributed across Canada, and as you might well know, the curse of the Wendigo is he who consumes human flesh becomes the Wendigo. In this instance, a lot of people became Wendigo. And so the X-Men were called to go up north and try to stall this, find a way to stop it. Initially, when the Wendigos came across the border into the United States, the curse was lifted. That's not a thing anymore.
So if I chew my cuticles, am I going to become a Wendigo?
Let's not find out.
I just did it.
Oh, stop that.
Pardon
me, ladies and gentlemen. I have to go get the dark hold and lift this curse off of Kevin. Amazing X-Men number 12.
All right, Amazing X-Men. I'm going to get weird and get some DC. Just kidding, it's Vertigo. A DC imprint and the best DC imprint, and thank goodness it's still around. Dead Boy Detective spun out of Sandman back in the day, and these two guys are just what it says on the tin, as they say. Two dead boys who are detectives, and they're cute and have adventures that are at once they seem like they're sort of, and this is the case back in the day at least. I am not caught up on this series sadly, but back in the day they would start out in like practically an Encyclopedia Brown type situation, if you remember that series.
I do.
But then it got Vertigo, because this is not Star Comics. Was there a DC version of a Kitty comic? Seemed like there was.
Maybe.
It might have been just like a little cover imprint or something like that. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. This is not kiddie thing. This is not an all ages. This is a mature readers thing.
As is the case with books in the Vertigo line. If you're reading Dead Boy Detectives, let me also recommend that you pick up Sandman Overture by Neil Gaiman.
Definitely.
6-issue miniseries up to issue 3 at the moment.
Neil Gaiman.
Gaiman. My apologies, sir. My apologies. I'm an American.
Thanks for continuing to watch our show, though. It's really nice.
Yes, indeed.
Or listen, either way.
There's just nothing that can be done with me. I apologize for horrifically butchering your name every episode.
Yeah, Neil's a good, nice guy anyway. He's not worried about it.
He's going to punch me right in my eye, isn't he?
That'd be weird, and yet I hope it's taped if that happens. Let's make sure to set it up.
Yeah. So Dead Boy Detectives.
All right. What's your third?
I already did 3.
I mean fourth.
4. Yeah.
We're streaming.
Can't count.
We're moving. 287 Park Avenue South, New York, New York. Mark is going to turn this off.
This
is okay. So I thought we were pausing. Sorry.
Yeah,
we're fine.
Okay, The Logan Legacy, issue number 2. Following the events of the death of Wolverine, let me just give you a little flash on the inside here. So, if you haven't read the 4th issue yet, I'm sorry, here's a great big spoiler. The series is called Death of Wolverine for a reason. Logan Legacy...
He dead.
The Logan Legacy actually picked up with the characters Sabretooth and Daken and X-23 and Mystique and has gone into a storyline involving these characters, antagonists and support characters of Wolverine. So not actually Wolverine himself. This is Logan's legacy. Sabretooth, his longtime opponent. You could really call him an arch enemy, a nemesis. Is that appropriate? Nemesis?
I would say so.
X-23, the female clone of Wolverine. Daken, Wolverine's son. Mystique, with whom Wolverine has a very complex history. That's the Logan Legacy. I strenuously recommend picking it up. We still have copies of the 1st issue. The 2nd issue just drops Wednesday. So come get that before it's all gone.
Yeah.
The interior, it looks like amazement. But again, what can we say? People asked, what's going to happen, when Wolverine dies? Are they really going to kill the character? Well, apparently there's plenty of stories to tell. Wolverine is important because he is a linchpin to these other characters, but he doesn't have to be here to be important. That's the kind of guy Wolverine is. I'm not showcasing them this week, but I also recommend picking up the Storm series and the Nightcrawler series because they each featured kind of a requiem, a Death of Wolverine requiem, where we get to see how the characters closest to Wolverine, in a friendly sense, react to his demise. Storm interacts with Yukio. Remember her from the Wolverine miniseries. Those of you who aren't longtime Wolverine readers, she was the pretty Japanese redhead in the Wolverine movie.
The second Wolverine one.
Yes.
The one that was less sucky.
Yeah, whatever. In any event, as the characters, as the news spreads, Logan's dead, he's not coming back, and each character reacts, they grieve in their own way. So definitely come pick this up, get into it, and I mean, there's no doubt in my mind we will see Wolverine again, the same way that there was no doubt in my mind that we would see Captain America again. There was no doubt in my mind that we would see Asgard and the Asgardians again, regardless of the deaths of these characters.
And Bucky and Uncle Ben. And
actually, Uncle Ben is still quite dead, thank you. Bucky Barnes is the Winter Soldier. That was actually a very good Brubaker story.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy is actually still quite dead. Her clone notwithstanding, her parallel universe clones notwithstanding, Gwen Stacy is still quite dead. Captain Marvel died of cancer, still quite dead.
That Spider-Verse thing, we're going to have an ongoing Gwen Stacy book?
Well, let's wait and see there. Don't drop all the spoilers for people who haven't read The Edge of Spider-Verse.
Well, that's not even telling you anything about it. This is an alternate dimensional sort of character. But there's a Gwen Stacy book that's coming. I'm excited.
Oh, Kevin.
That's not a spoiler.
Oh, what
it's
to
just
do
from
with
another dimension. You know how the dimensions work. There's an infinite number of Gwen Stacys who survived.
Yeah. So,
that's how that works.
Kevin,
Infinity.
Tell the nice people that Logan Legacy sounds good, and
it sounds good.
Better wishes, you're going to pick it up.
I am going to pick it up because Troy has mentally possessed me.
Yeah, wait till we get outside. I do have the droids he's looking for.
I call him Karma. That's a New Mutants joke.
So, Kev, what's your big number 4?
I'm going to roll into some Spider-Man 2 because I am into little MC2 there. Looks like Mayday Parker from the MC2 universe. That's the formerly sort of maybe future of Marvel. Spider-Girl, which went for like 100 issues or something amazing like that. And it was canceled like 4 times, and then the fans just said, heck no, strongly heck no, probably used other words than that, but said, hey, we want that character, we love that character, and we want her back, and they kept getting her back until, like I say, 100 or more issues. I think there was even a miniseries after that 100th.
Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, man, Dan Slott is really knocking the Spider-Man stuff right out of the park. Dan Slott is amazing on Spider-Man.
I wasn't quite sure how I felt about Dan Slott with that whole Death of Spider-Man and the whole, what was it? It's not sensational, not spectacular. What's it called? The
Superior?
Right. Like Troy's mental capacity, or memory capacity at the very least, superior is the adjective that applied to that Spider-Man.
14 petabytes of comic knowledge.
Nice.
The Superior Spider-Man was an excellent run, and it showcased Otto Octavius in the body of Peter Parker, living Peter's life, trying to be a better Spider-Man than Peter himself was. But Peter's back now. That's what's important. Peter's back. The Edge of Spider-Verse story is kicking off, and we are getting into the story of the hunters. Those individuals, not just Moreland, there are other hunters who are hunting the spiders down.
Moreland was bad enough himself.
Yeah, well, he's not alone. There's more.
Here's my problem with the whole Moreland thing. He's like, oh, yeah, I must kill all spiders in all universes. But, unlike DC, which had the conceit that there were 52 alternate universes, Marvel seems to say there are essentially an infinite number of additional universes, which means Moreland never stops. It's not possible to kill all the spiders.
Well, we're going to have to find some way to make that happen, or else Peter is going to spend the rest of his life running from trouble. Oh, wait! That's what Peter does anyway!
All the damn time. I mean, darn time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yes, then they're, well, then there now, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8. Come check out Mayday Parker. Keep up with the Spider-Verse that's ongoing right now. And there will be yet even more of this to come.
Do I have all those?
Actually, I think you do, but we'll double
good.
check. Well, yeah, we got to clean your box out anyway. You got like a short box of comics back there now.
I'm looking forward to reading them, that's for sure.
That's like 175 comics because I haven't put them in bags and boards.
Oh. All right, what's your next one?
It's actually 2, but I'm making it 1 pick.
I understand.
There is absolutely no doubt in anyone's mind what I'm picking, because this is the week that Godzilla, Rulers of Earth, and Godzilla Cataclysm. I absolutely love these 2 books from IDW.
2 great tastes that taste great together. Oh, and is that an Art Adams cover?
That
one's Cullen Bunn doing it, and no, I'm saying is that one an Art Adams cover?
My bad. No, that is not actually Mr. Adams' work, but it is actually pretty incredible.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 different stories going on here. Godzilla Cataclysm picks up in the aftermath of a big monster attack, and the monsters have been dormant, and people are surviving, scratching out a living, and the monsters make a triumphant return, and there is terror, and they're screaming, and there are big monsters stomping around. Godzilla Rulers of Earth takes a different approach. It's sort of continuing stories that have been ongoing with an alien invasion, a conspiracy, efforts to capture the monsters, to build a Mechagodzilla, and then to take that Mechagodzilla and make it available on the black market, because there's a whole bunch of these things.
I'm just going to download one on the internet.
2 incredible sets of stories. I am loving both of them. If you're fans of the Godzilla franchise, any of them, they're all actually represented in the series up to this point. So you will see a character like Gigan from Godzilla Final Wars, but you'll see Space Godzilla from the Heisei series. We've seen Biollante also from the Heisei series. But we're looking at a classic Mechagodzilla from the original Showa series. It's, the 1970s Godzilla, the 1980s, 90s Godzilla, and the Millennium 2000 Godzillas and on. It's pretty incredible. Everything so far, except for the most recent, the 2014 film, is represented, but have no doubts that one, I believe, will represent itself before too much longer here.
Now, when you say the Millennium one, you're not talking about the film, right? Are you talking about comics, or are you talking about the Broderick film?
Well, the film, no, not the Broderick film. The Broderick film doesn't count in the
Thank
Godzilla
goodness.
dynasty. The Godzilla Millennium series is everything after Godzilla 2000. So Godzilla 2000, Godzilla against Megaguirus. No, the movies. There were actually several movies that Kevin here is behind on. No great surprise there. Spoiler alert, Kevin doesn't know something. There were several films in the Millennium series. They reboot back to the original 1954 films.
Now, these weren't created in America, right? These are
no, they were
Japanese
not.
Films.
They were all Japanese.
Okay, fine. All right, I don't feel bad then. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to help Kevin out with some of this.
Sounds good.
But before we can do that, Kevin, what's your number 1 pick this week?
Well, my last pick, these are not necessarily in any order, because frankly, for me, it's going to be Walking Dead, because that's the one I freak out about. Like, I must read this first at all times. But my last one, I for a time have thought, been wrestling with theology and that. And thankfully, Marvel has helped me out with that and shown me that Thanos, a god up there, is listening. I'm going to put an is in there, like Troy wants to put an and in everything geek and pop culture. I'm going to say a god up there is listening, and he's Thanos, because why not? This is issue 3, and for those of you playing along at home, yes, indeed, this has become a weekly series. I didn't realize myself that it was a weekly series, but I'm kind of into it.
As well you should be. This series has given us a lot more feature on Thanos' son, Thane. Thane given to us in the Infinity series.
All right.
Instrumental in stopping Thanos in that 6-issue miniseries from last year. So we're seeing more on him, and we're getting into Thane possibly taking on the legacy of his father.
Because why?
Well, why don't you read the comic and find out?
Well, I thought you were gonna give a little hint as to why. No hints. Spoilers.
1, 2, 3 issues so far, ladies and gentlemen. Come and pick those silly things up. Interesting enough, it's since been overturned conversationally, but Thanos was introduced, of course, in the pages of Iron Man number 55, which I actually own a copy of.
Shocking.
Yes. In the pages of the Mighty Avengers, however, I believe Avengers Annual 7, Thanos was described by the Vision as being a mutant demigod, and that certainly made him sound ridiculously powerful. Now, since then, we know that Thanos is actually an Eternal. They are not demigods, but they are incredibly powerful.
Well, he's part Eternal, right? Isn't he?
No. He is from Titan, the Titanian Eternals, and he is a throwback to the truly immortal, energy-manipulating, super strong Eternals.
Well, right, but the Eternals back in the day, Jack Kirby and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
But I was under the impression that Thanos, due to his wrinkly chin, had some amount of his lineage was Skrull.
That's the mutant aspect. No, he is not part Skrull.
I thought that was a thing where they were hinting at it, and Thanos is like, "I'll kill everyone who ever says that." Or who doesn't.
No Skrullian here. Thanos is a Titanian
I thought that was going to be a thing.
No. It's just a furrowed chin. It's an air mark of his mutant legacy, and he's probably sensitive about the way he looks, particularly since after he was born, his mother wanted to kill him for his monstrous aspect.
Yeah, well, and it's probably not wise to be all, "Hey, Thanos, your grandma's a Skrull. What up?" Yeah,
I kind of sort of see being
kind of a death wish.
It's
a kind of a death wish sort of thing. You've got to be kind of high end. You're very, very cosmic, extra super cosmic, as they say, or I just said.
Well, yes. Bear in mind, in the pages of Marvel 2-in-1 Annual Number 2, Thanos proved that he was capable of fist fighting Thor and the Thing at the same time. So, if you are going to get in Thanos' grill, you might want to bring an A game that's better than that.
Who's a brawler that's bigger than that? I mean, Hulk.
Champion of the universe.
Oh, champion. Very good. Thanks. There you go.
Happy to help.
Champion of the universe. Part of those siblings who were called the
Elders of the Universe.
Uh-huh.
Champion's first appearance, incidentally, Marvel 2-in-1 Annual Number 7.
I knew it was in Marvel 2-in-1.
Tycho Slatterus is his actual name. He claims kinship to the Gardener and the Grandmaster and the Collector.
The Collector that you may have seen in Guardians of the Galaxy, and also he was at the end of some Thor 2.
Thor 2, The Dark World. Yes.
Thor 2, even Thorer.
Yes. The Collector, first appearance, Avengers number 28.
Or the end of Thor 2, depending on what universe you're talking about.
Oh, my. All right, well, there's our fives.
All right, those are our top 5 comics for each of us for this week. This is going to be new comics for Wednesday, October
22nd,
2014. And that's comics for this week.
Yeah.
So follow us on Twitter, Flashback Comics and Games.
Like us on Facebook.
Yep, Flashback, Comics Online, and then also, of course, on the YouTube.
Subscribe on YouTube.
And check out everything geek pop culture with Comics Online on blip.tv. ComicsOnline.blip.tv, that's where all of our interview videos can be found.
And an extra 5% discount if you can count the number of times that Kevin didn't use the word "and" in any of his sentences tonight.
That's really weird. Troy would probably really do that for you. That's how amazing he is here.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.